and welcome to everyone. It's been, shall we say, a big week. Just a little bit. Yes, it's been a massive week, actually. There's a reason I've got my whites on. I've been out the back practising, and I tell you what, I'm in pretty ordinary form. I bowled some double bounces, some full tosses. So the Ashes comeback, although it's very flattering for people to say, would you like to come back and play? I'd love to be out there, but the double bounce and full tosses aren't working, so there's a big no to an Ashes comeback. So, sorry to disappoint. Yes, well, I'm sorry to disappoint everyone, but I'm sure the Aussies will do well in Perth over the next 4 days. Now, for anyone else who's interested in anything else, I'm fine. I'm actually doing OK. My family's great too. My kids are fantastic. I've even got Brooke and her friend Bree in the audience tonight. Let's have a look on what's on tonight's show. We get up close and personal with the host of one of the most watched TV shows in the world, the often charming but always mischievous Jeremy Clarkson.
I know cricket obviously is a subject very close to your heart, but if you suffer from hay fever as I do, there is no sport on earth quite as terrifying, because you are made to go out and stand in front of 3 sticks and your eyes are streaming. You can see virtually nothing. And then a tall boy will come along with a you know how hard that ball is, and throw it at you.
She's now one of the most recognised names, faces and voices anywhere. I have a revealing chat with singing sensation Susan Boyal. You like the men in kilts or the bronze Aussies? Which do you prefer?
It's a hard one for me to answer.
What is it?
I went to sheltered life, you know.
I go one-on-one with current Australian cricket captain Ricky Ponting. More classic 12th man moments.
I want a catch. What a catch.
And as always, Big Sam Kekovich has the last word.
Being 1-0 down, the best of 5 means nothing. Well further behind at Gallipoli and came back to win that one.
Yeah, it should be a great show tonight. Our first guest is the frontman of the world's most popular show. It's the one and only Jeremy Clarkson. Each week, more than 300 million people across the globe sit glued to their TV sets watching a trio of slightly mad Englishmen debating their love of all things motoring. Thanks awfully. Top Gear has become a worldwide phenomenon, and the frontman for this trio of rev heads is Jeremy Clarkson, a journalist, writer and broadcaster whose motoring knowledge is only superseded by his sharp wit. Whether it's crashing through walls, racing across the wilderness, or humiliating his co-hosts.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder offering their opinion.
Jeremy Clarkson remains one of the most recognised television stars in the world, and I was lucky enough to catch up with him in London. Jeremy, thanks for joining us, mate.
It's a pleasure. Welcome to England.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just passed a polar bear and a couple of igloos on the way.
It's not warm, is it?
No, it's not.
It's really
not when it was
warm.
38 degrees when I was in Adelaide.
Yeah, no, well, that's, yeah, and I suppose the prawns were better as well, weren't they?
Yes.
Great steaks, lovely prawns, and much better climate.
Yes.
Yeah, we have fish fingers and drizzle, but we did have the biggest empire the world's ever seen as a result. There's got to be something better than this somewhere else. Let's go.
Right. Did you ever think, though, that a show with you and your 2 mates, or the 3 nutters, doing a car show would be the biggest rating show ever in the world?
Well, you know, of course, you looked at the old classic Top Gear, which had run for 2 centuries, and think, well, then we might be as popular as that, might, one day. Yeah. And then now, look, it's extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. And people then say, why? Yeah. And nobody on the programme has the slightest idea. Absolutely.
There must be a secret, though. Like, what's the secret to the show?
I have no idea. You just put 3 middle-aged men in a situation and tell them there is no health and safety. You're going to get hurt, you're going to bleed, and people tune in. Yeah. So, it's a great fun thing to do.
Yeah, it's fun.
Honestly, I was loading a pretend dead 22 stones, whatever that is in kilo, huge dead Macedonian into the boot of a Rolls-Royce in Albania the other day, and just got the giggles. Thought, I'm 50 years old and I'm earning a living now, seeing how big the boot is of this car by trying to get a dead Macedonian into it. Mad world. Great fun, then.
Do you enjoy being the lead singer of the band, though?
No, I wouldn't really. Well, I probably am actually the lead singer.
Yeah.
And then you'd have Hammond, who's the. Or no, actually, I'm the drummer.
Drummer.
Make a lot of noise and die early. That's what all drummers do.
Well, so
Look at me! They're like house flies. They come, they make a lot of noise, then they die. All drummers do that. Keith Moon and so on. And then James is the rather studious keyboard player, Rabbit, who you never really saw. He was in The Who, but you never saw him. Yeah, he is. And then Hammond is just the irritating. He's probably the lead singer, actually. In fact, talking to you is a bit like talking to the teeth. You've got the same colour teeth as Richard Hammond.
Really?
Ice white.
White?
Ice
I
white.
get them
Ice
white, do you think? Could you tell?
Do you know you can? I do as well.
Smile, Craig.
But I buy a slightly off-white tooth whitener. It's a sort of yellow. That's really what I go for.
Did you and Richard and James, did you all guys know each other before Top Gear?
No, actually,
How did it all come about?
I knew James of old, and then we did a screen test when we were going to do it, and Richard crops up, and he is extremely funny, spontaneously very funny. Take the cameras away, and he's really sharp and quick, very funny, so we knew immediately, and he's got great teeth and puts product in his hair. He would be perfect. And then we had another guy, he didn't work out terribly well, and I'd been nagging all the way along, actually, this friend who I was producing the show with, let's get James May in. You know, he's drinking meths, he's in the gutter, he's pretty much down and out, he'll be cheap. And so I went and found him and said, do you fancy the gig? And Top Gear was pretty small then, very small. You know, and was doing OK, but nothing special. So James joined, and occasionally points out that after he joined, it really ramped up. Truth be told, it was Hammond's accident that caused the ratings to shoot up. As people suddenly thought, wait a minute, these guys aren't faking.
Yeah, they're pushing it.
They're actually, they're right, they're really, they're in those cars and they're doing dangerous things. I think once people establish that we are not really interested in safety, really not interested in it, you know, they come with their forms. We just aren't interested, and I think that, again, is part of it.
What about the... Is that the... OK, so the pack, though, of your show as well, that if one of you sort of...
Yeah, one of us
mishap or...
I don't think there's an if. It's when one of us really croaks. I mean, no more. When the luck runs out and you do actually get wasted, you're dead. Obviously, that will have to be announced on the following week's show. You can't just have an empty chair where Hammond used to sit on me. So we have a pact. We've all shaken hands on it. That will announce. One of us will announce. You know, I'll say, really sorry to announce in the filming of that item, Richard Hammond was killed. And we've got the agreement. The next word out of that person's mouth is anyway. So it's Richard Hammond was killed. Anyway, the new Holden. Yeah. So, because it's just he was killed, and that's sad, but it's not really the end of the world. Now let's move on to the new Holden, which is quite interesting. So it's a way of making sure the show can continue even when we're all dead. Isn't actually, we all get killed. That's quite tricky, obviously, because it'll be quite quiet.
So the love of cars, where did that start? At a young age, or...?
Yeah, I think I was told I could say Maserati before I could say mummy. So... But then, you know, you lose interest in cars when you get to 14, 15, which I did. And then it wasn't until I started as a journalist and realised I was actually useless as a journalist, but that I could write about cars because nobody else seemed to be doing it. So I was doing that.
What about sport? Did that have any impact as you as a kid, or was it just cars?
No, no, absolutely. I was very, very interested in not taking part in any sporting activity.
Nothing tickled your fancy at all?
Well, I know cricket, obviously, is a subject very close to your heart. But if you suffer from hay fever, as I do, there is no sport on earth quite as terrifying, because you are made to go out and stand in front of 3 sticks, and your eyes are streaming. You can see virtually nothing. And then a tall boy will come along with a you know how hard that ball is, and throw it at you.
And it hurts, too.
You can't see it coming, because you're... and just as the sneeze comes, you're thwacked on the side of the head. And it was considered homosexual to wear any form of protective clothing. You actually had to play with your genitals out, while this massive boy threw a hugely hard ball at you. You couldn't see it coming. Listen to me, he's trying to knock the sticks over. He isn't. He's just throwing it at me. So then you're out. And then, well, knocked out or out, and then you'd have to go and sit on the sidelines where the long grass was, making your hay fever even worse. And this is the really bad bit, is when somebody's made the ball go really high up in the air and it's coming towards you, now there's 22 people looking at you, and this ball is coming down. just waiting for the snake, and it hangs right on the end of your finger. Always dead. So your fingers get shoved deep into your hands until they're just little stumps. And as a result of that, I didn't like cricket very much.
Really?
Hay fever, who knows, I could have been as good as you, but hay fever...
Yeah, a killer.
You can't
have
are there
hay
any cricketers that suffer?
There's a few.
They can
There's a
manage.
few, but it's probably not that bad.
Because then they say, no, here, take this
Take this,
antihistamine.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So then you walk out to the crease and... absolutely fast asleep. So either way, I wasn't really very good at it.
OK, so growing up, you didn't want to say, right, you know what, I want to play Test cricket for England.
No, I was at an
that
English
was the
public school, and at an English public school, it's extremely important that you get up in the morning and are thrown usually into an ice-cold swimming pool and then bullied mercilessly and then made to do some form of incredibly violent sport. And I didn't like any of that, so I took detention instead. Because detention's indoor, no hay fever, and nobody's throwing anything at you. So I preferred that. And that was really where I spent 5 years, was in detention until they expelled me. And also really uncoordinated.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly so. Disappointingly so.
Well, you'd make a good AFL footballer in Australia. Nice height, move well.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd suit a cap-sleeve T-shirt. I'm not sure.
And the little shorts, not those either.
The stubbies. I just think people go, he hasn't actually got a penis, no. Oh, look at him run, he's a girl. He's like a Barbie doll.
All right, I've got 6 spinning questions to you. You've got to answer the best you can and just rapid fire. So I'm going to ask them and you just tell me the first thing that comes into your head.
Oh, no, it's a word association. And then what do you say? You are gay. It is. It's like, it is. It's one of those things. Man, bottom.
Right, ready? If you could be anyone... if you could be anyone else for a day, dead or alive, who would it be?
Uma Thurman's boyfriend.
Ah, good, yes. Boxers, briefs or commando?
Do you know that neither?
Boxers, briefs. So you don't wear
Oh, I
boxers,
see.
briefs.
I thought that was maybe an Australian thing. But I know you like to wear the tight short.
Yep.
But they're neither. They're sort of boxery briefs.
OK. What car would you never own?
Any form of... Well, any Toyota hatchback. No, anything made in Korea.
OK. Richard Hammond.
Microscopic.
James May.
Dreary.
Australia is great because...
Great stakes, lovely climate.
Jeremy Clarkson, thank you very much for being on the show.
Pleasure. My absolute
Thanks, mate.
pleasure. Thanks. Great to meet you.
Very good, very good. And thank you very much to Jeremy Clarkson for giving up his time. Those boys are pretty busy. I think they have a bit of fun too. Don't forget, Top Gear Live is coming to Australia in 2011, and the tickets are selling pretty fast. The boys are in Brisbane on the 3rd to 6th of March. They're in Melbourne on the 11th and 11th to the 14th of March. And go to topgearlive.com.au for your tickets, because they are selling quick. With Jeremy, I also talked about the Stig. I know there's been a lot of talk about that, but we'll show you a little bit about the Stig next week.